Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about my Robotaxi experience, phantom braking, and answer all of your questions like, was I wearing a seatbelt or not? Which seems to be a big topic of conversation. I keep seeing people discussing it everywhere. So should we just get into it?
Yeah, we can jump in. I know it's a last minute thing, right? When they kind of reached out and with 2 days notice, you're there, you're in Austin, and you got to be one of the first people to experience all of that.
Unfortunately, because of the short notice, PJ couldn't go. He had to take our kids to camp, but I was able to go with our friend Dan from What's Inside channel and have some fun, try Robotaxi out. I was one of the first, I think there were only, 20 of us that were given app access. So we were able to
Which you still have the app.
I still have the app on my phone and drive Robotaxi around a small kind of geofenced area in South Austin, Texas, which was really exciting. This is something that we've talked about for so long now. So it was a super exciting experience. And, you know, I did rides all day for like 2 days in a row, plenty of rides. And then Dan and I had this idea to do the Waymo versus Robotaxi. We did a route that we had done numerous times, back and forth numerous times. And we thought, this is a good route. Let's do it again for our test. All those other times were completely smooth, no issues at all. And so I kind of expected that to happen. I just thought it'd be fun to have the race aspect of it.
Yeah.
But then it happened to be that kind of evening time where the light was just like directly in our eyes while we were driving. And, you know, right after I was talking about that being an issue for the cameras and how, like with FSD back at home, sometimes it will do the phantom braking. It was driving great. And then all of a sudden it happened. Yeah. It felt like it just slammed on the brakes. Yes, I had my seatbelt on. The car will not drive without your seatbelt on. But the reason why it looked like I didn't have my seatbelt on is because of this microphone right here. So when I'm filming, I use these wireless mics, and they typically go right here, and that is also right where my seatbelt goes. Yeah. You can see PJ and I both have them on. He has his right now on the inside of his shirt with a little magnet on it. Mine is right here on the outside. So typically when I film with cars, when I'm driving, I actually will put this on to the seatbelt strap that goes right over you. I didn't want to do that with the Robotaxi because
you lost one in the cyber cab.
I lost one in the cyber cab. Actually, it was just a Robotaxi that I was driving in. When I went to the unveil, because I was so excited while I was filming that I just walked out of it and forever lost it. So this time I was paranoid about doing that again. I knew we were racing, we were getting into it. So I actually had the seatbelt. At times I was just like holding it down a little bit. And then I sort of had it like tucked under my arm. But yes, it was on, probably not in the proper position. But at the same time, it was on. If for some reason it wasn't on, it would have stopped.
I saw comments of people saying, well, if you had your seatbelt on the right way, then it wouldn't look so dramatic and your head wouldn't, you know, lunge forward. And I'm thinking that's besides the point.
Yeah. And honestly, the other times we actually filmed a live stream. We did a bunch of other stuff. And I was filming other things and I had the seatbelt on the same way. And it didn't seem to affect it. Again, obviously you should wear your seatbelt the right way. Obviously you should.
But the mic in this scenario would be going directly over the seatbelt, which creates that whole rustling sound.
That would be like all you guys would have heard.
Yeah.
And again, I was filming by myself. I was also kind of like hunched over a little bit. So it looked weird because my camera is like what? Like 5-10 pounds.
It's like 4 or 5 pounds that you're holding out straight ahead.
I'm holding it. I'm petite. So it always kind of looks a little bit weird, I think.
Yeah.
In video. But yes, I had my seatbelt on. So that was not why it happened. I don't know exactly why it happened. I'm assuming it was from that sun glare. There's really no way to know unless you are Tesla and you're analyzing that data of what's going on. So anybody asking me anything?
Yeah, we got plenty of questions in there. So one person's saying, so is Robotaxi basically like enhanced full self-driving that we all have?
Yes.
It is, right?
That is what Robotaxi is.
But on a different version of software that we were not privy to being able to
get. I don't think we know the exact level of the software, but it is the full self-driving that we all have at home. Robotaxi is the service. So I think initially everyone thought Robotaxi and Cybercab were kind of the same thing, but the way people have been talking about it lately is Robotaxi is the service. that you could do with your car at home. Anybody with full self-driving can enter their vehicle into Robotaxi and have their car essentially drive around, pick up people, and you could be making money with your car. And that's Robotaxi, that's the app. And then there's Cybercab, which is the new vehicle that is dedicated just for Robotaxi.
Which you can also purchase, supposedly under $30,000, and then be able to have it. And that's going to have hardware 5, right? That's going to be a more enhanced version.
That's what I keep hearing, is that will have hardware 5, which is different than what is out right now. If you go to purchase, a new Juniper Model Y, which is ironically what we have at home, and just purchase that as hardware 4, which is the latest and greatest, except for Cybercab apparently has hardware 5, which you're like, wait, am I going to need hardware 5?
Well, since the majority of the millions of owners across the US or even around the world have hardware 3 Teslas, they're all thinking we're left out in the dust. I saw a meme where it had a skeleton of a person underwater and a person barely above water. That's hardware 4, that's us. And then, of course, the person being held above the water, which is the hardware 5. So this is kind of the game that a lot of Tesla owners seem like they feel like they've played, where you think you have the latest, then you're promised if you buy FSD, you're going to be getting the retrofit and upgrade on it. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say out of the 20 people there, I see a question was MKBHD there, and he was not. I didn't see him there. I don't think he was. It was mostly people over on X that are really big on X. Not a lot of the typical YouTube influencers that are there were there. So, I wasn't actually invited to the other Robotaxi Cybercab unveil event. I kind of had to get my way in there. It was really hard to get in. So you never know with these Tesla events if you're going to be invited. I don't know, because of this incident. Honestly, it was kind of scary putting that video back. I don't know if I'll get invited back because I publicized what happened to me. But Dan's a good friend. So right away, when I knew PJ couldn't go, I called him up and I said, hey, do you want to come? We always work. We're all friends. So we always try to help each other out.
Yeah. So we have a question here regarding the sun visor. No, sorry, I see something else that just popped up.
All right.
So what's your thoughts on unsupervised FSD? Is it 99% there? Do you think it's almost there? Or what's your take after being on the road and experiencing how it handles, how it changes lanes, how it gets in front of people and so on?
I think, every other drive I went on, it did an amazing job. And there's even a moment I did not capture this on camera, I wish I really had, where a cat crossed in front of us. And it even slowed down and stopped for that cat. It saw it and you could see it, which I thought was really like a small animal. To see it stop for that was really cool. I do think that we are really getting there, but I also like the approach Tesla is taking in terms of safety and being very, very cautious. Because I did experience this. That's something that they need to work that out. They need to figure out. And I don't know if it does make you wonder a little bit about their approach to it with cameras only. Why not? And I think I misspoke in the video and I said it was LiDAR, that we needed LiDAR to be able to get through that sun. And I came home and I looked a little more into it, and it's radar.
Yeah.
It's
fog,
radar.
Rain, even the solar glare, those are all going to impact LiDAR as well. It's the combination and the redundancy of LiDAR, radar, and the addition